Oh, I'll get that Hydra.
Alright.
Whoa! Owie! Looks like the bone Hydra of Asphodel just stomped you that time, huh?
It was unpleasant, yes.
Hey, Sean, what's up?
I know that Nyx has been abetting you.
How can you... Nyx is the night itself and can do as she pleases, isn't that correct, Father? You think I asked to get involved in all the...
You, boy, have already dragged this entire household, not...
Pleasure doing business, then. I like the sound of this one here, good contractor. Go make it happen.
That shall be of no help to you, I'm sure.
Achilles on break, I guess.
We each have our commitments to this house, Megara. There is no shame in yours.
I understand. It's just...
The house shall stand eternally.
I know. You're right, of course.
What was that about? Who needs sleep?
Ooh, I need that. Ooh, I really
Nyx's
want
strength.
that. I'm getting the hell out of that ASAP. It's going to take a while.
No turning back.
Time you learn the bearing of the gods, and to assert yourself. For this I have employed the greatest of the Greeks, or what became of him.
Achilles?
This one's for you, Achilles.
Hey, Machi. Moshe.
What shall we do here once you finally arrive? Perhaps we could go out and meet some mortals. I know all too many maidens and or noble gentlemen who'd absolutely love to get to know you.
Okay.
Who keeps fixing that?
Yeah. Yes, we are, Herman the Goat. Literally, we are.
Gemstones.
Yeah, of course I did, Lance. I watched the whole game. One second, guys. I'm doing all right, Herman. I'm doing all right. Well, the A's look like they're falling apart, man. They don't look good at all. So it's all about the Red Sox at this point, because the Yankees are going to be good. I think the Yankees are legit, but the Red Sox might be going to pieces here.
Strength of the Centaurs.
Herman the Great, thank you for the $4.99 for having to put up with me. I'm not putting up with anything, man. You just got here. I'm doing perfectly fine. There are viewers that I have that I feel like I have to put up with. Maybe you are not one of them. You are doing perfectly fine. I mean, honestly, we're having a good season. The team is showing a lot of positive things. I'm not going to be that mad if we miss. I'm not. This team is not talented enough to make the playoffs. They might make it because they're doing incredibly well in close games, but in terms of raw talent, we're overachieving. And I'm going to appreciate that. I'll worry about the playoffs later. If we make the playoffs, that's great, but I'm really not going to get mad if we don't make it. This is a very flawed team. This team had one of the worst lineups in MLB history as of, what, a few months ago. The fact that this team is even thinking about a playoff spot is pretty incredible and speaks to a certain extent, how lucky they've gotten. I mean, I think I can keep it real and say that much, right? Like, that's clearly true. A team with a massive run differential in the negatives should not be in the playoff race, but we are. And I'm happy about that. They've given me something to care about.
Come on, let's fight. Next.
And I see you have the Lady Aphrodite's blessing there already.
Bloodshed then.
Yeah, Ty France is playing some incredible baseball. Why did the Padres give him away? That doesn't make any sense, man. Well, I think we're going to be better next year because we have a lot of young players that needed to learn this year, like Cal Riley and Jared Klenick. Clearly have potential, but overall those guys have not had good seasons at all. Yeah, probably Ayush. That's probably going to be it if we get Atkins. And I think we probably will at this point, but we might not do it until after the first game, honestly. So we don't have to guarantee any of his contract. Oh shit, oh shit. Oh.
to bits.
I'm not a doctor, Zuea, so I have no problem with him coming back. I'm assuming he's fine. Like, I don't think the doctors would clear him if he wasn't ready to come back.
Ladies, I heard you were preparing to rain terrible destruction on your...
Let's make some waves.
That was a tough one.
Can catch my breath.
You know, that's something that we might need to instruct him on. I mean, he's a young player. Maybe he just needs some additional coaching on that front. And I cannot believe Torrens is actually going to be pretty good. Like, I had completely given up on Torrens, man. Completely given up.
Gemstones.
Yes!
Now, dearest,
Didn't have much choice.
Those things do a lot of damage.
Alas, that passion sometimes drives me into vengeance, dearest. Yet who among us isn't without vices,
Centaur strength.
I'm not familiar with that name at all, Zuia. But I think we're kind of locked into what we got. I think we just need to hope that Witherspoon can hack it. You know? It sucks, but I think we're kind of married to it.
Whatever, let's try it.
You thief. Satisfied?
There. Mine. Perfect. Just what I need. enjoy that, mate? Care on, mate. Now, hypothetically, if I provided you with, say... I had to ask.
No, Brian, I don't. I don't think there's that much benefit there. Like, I don't know what we gain from not having him right now.
We meet again.
Listen to me, Zagreus.
I've hope enough.
Your family is here.
Come on. Boom. Zuea, I don't know. I haven't been watching a lot of the preseason outside of the Seahawks. I mean, it's preseason. It's hard.
Mine.
It's hard to be invested. Okay. Hopefully we can have the opportunity to heal soon.
Let's hear it, Father.
Yeah, I know, David. I don't buy it.
To do her job.
I don't buy it. I do not. Oh.
Here then.
None other than those.
Let's go up. Getting warmer. The bloodless lie in wait out there, I guess.
Oh, shit. Crap. Yeah, something's not right, Ethan. Somebody's lying at some point along this process. And it's Carson Wentz. Like, if Carson Wentz is having... If it's Carson Wentz, you can't play him. Like, maybe if it's somebody like Russell Wilson who never misses a game, then I get it. Somebody who knows how to keep themselves safe, but Carson Wentz is Mr. Glass himself, my man. Part of me's wondering if they lied about him having surgery to throw people off. Because unless he's a marvel of modern medicine, that seems like it shouldn't even be possible.
What's good there, cuz? course. Though, who am I kidding? We can cut the small talk. I don't mind. I interrupt my brothers and sisters.
Godspeed. Easy does it. Wave makers.
Although, honestly, so many Seahawks players all started practicing again at once, I almost feel like we were BSing about their injuries so we wouldn't have to play them in the preseason. Or we were exaggerating the crap out of it because we didn't want them to have to play.
What do we have here?
Where's the exit? Aha. Oh, Snacks, do you want to play something tomorrow? I assumed you weren't up for anything tonight because I didn't see you online. But if you want to play something tomorrow, just let me know. Spawning from somewhere. Oh, okay. Alright, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright, cool. Yeah, first, I don't know if you saw my comment trying to troll. People were talking about Carson.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. And you know, technically it's true.
Right, you know, they're trying to shit talk him, and I'm like, hey, you know, there's one thing that you can't say for Carson Wentz. When he's on the field, he's actually really good.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked Wentz. I actually, like, I'm not talking about whether or not I think he's good or bad. I've liked Wentz.
Right. I mean, yeah. I love to cape up for Wentz because I remember when that draft was going on and everyone was all like, Jared Goff is the consensus #1 overall pick. He's got to be. He's the best quarterback prospect we've ever seen, and blah, 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 blah. You know, and just constantly like, oh yeah, Goff is just so much better than everybody else. And you know, now everyone knows that Goff is like complete fucking trash and was just carried by one of the best defenses that we've seen in the last several decades. Aaron Donald's a fucking machine.
Right, it's the barge of
but
death.
you know, all that aside, it's just insane to me that Carson Wentz was still performing at the level that he was. You know, even that year that the Eagles won the ring, and that if he hadn't gotten hurt, he would have been a slam dunk MVP, no question. And people were still fucking... they were still saying, hey, he's not that good.
I mean, we'll never really know how good Wentz would have been if he could stay healthy, I guess, right? I mean, it's, you know, to a certain extent, he's damaged goods. We'll never know. It's like kind of like Bill Walton. Maybe not that extreme, but Bill Walton might have been a top 10 player of all time if he stayed healthy.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah. But somebody in chat just now brought up a good point. He said, I hated both QBs, if I'm very honest with y'all. And I've got to agree a lot with that guy, because I rant about this anytime it comes up. I absolutely hate taking the quarterback in the first round. I never think it's a good decision, because there's plenty of talent that you can find outside of the first round. And a lot of times, a team, it doesn't matter the prospect that you're taking, it has everything to do instead with the franchise's ability to develop talent. And there have been some absolutely slam dunk can't miss prospects that have gone completely tits up because they went into the worst possible fucking culture with a shitty franchise that you could find, and everything just went to shit. You know, and I actually think that a good example of that is Jameis Winston, because he ended up on the Bucks with fucking Loie Smith was his coach for his first couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Like, almost every bad habit that he has as a player is like, you could just point to that shit and be like, well, look what you fucking threw him into. If he got drafted by the Patriots, fucking like.
I still think I'm still surprised Mariota didn't end up good, honestly. That might be another example. We don't know.
And that's another thing, is like, in the last decade, there have been a lot of different examples of people reaching like fuck just because they were a bad team and they desperately needed a quarterback, and they said, hey, this guy's good, even though it's college. And the NCAA needs to stop being looked at as a farm system for the NFL, because there are way too many gimmick offenses where the shit that they do there doesn't work in the NFL. And I'm tired of seeing the shit where a QB comes out of a gimmick offense and everyone's like, let's draft this guy, you know, in the fucking top 5, and then he ends up being an absolute fucking shitter. You know, either that or he's in a disastrously weak conference and just got to clown a bunch of fucking high schoolers.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite example of that is Vince Young. Apparently the playbook at Texas was like 4 plays long. Like, it was literally just like X, circle, triangle, and square.
Straight up mad bullshit. You know, and fucking, like, Bort's another good example, because I love Bortles and I wanted to believe in Bortles, but my god, that's just a bad plan. And it's all like, well, how the fuck did all this happen? You know, you can point to a ton of different things. It's all like, well, you know, maybe too much of the difference between college and the real game, you know, he never had a chance of transitioning over properly. Or maybe it's just the Jags suck that much ass. But that's the funny thing, is you see some teams just absolutely fucking shit the bed when it comes to quarterbacks. And then they've got players in other positions, and they're fantastic. You know, so you can sit there and be like, well, you know, the Jaguars suck ass at developing QB talent. But holy crap, you know, they did a great job with Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, they had a great pass rush there for like a year.
Right. So then it's all like, well, why can't they get the guys who are coaching the defense to be like, hey, let's try to snatch the fucking offense. See if we can. Anyway, what I wanted, since there's a decent amount of people who are watching right now, And most of the people who are watching right now are generally the typical stream viewers. You know, guys who come in and actually watch these streams no matter what we're playing.
Right, right.
So what would you guys think if Joker and I played that new Aliens game that came out? Like Fireteam Elite or whatever the fuck it's called.
It's supposed to be Left 4 Dead, but with his xenomorphs.
Yeah.
And some of you might not be old enough to know what a xenomorph is, which is pretty sad, but... You
Yeah, fuck me. How old is Sigourney Weaver now?
60?
She is 71.
Wow, okay.
She was born October 8th, 1949. My God. Sigourney Weaver was literally born before the Eisenhower presidency.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Wow, that's even more insane. Sigourney Weaver's actually been married to the same guy for...
Let's see. You blundered headlong into danger for the past 6 changes
37
or more,
years, wow.
and you made such a racket.
She's offering an exchange.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm I'm pretty much up to play whatever. So I don't have any issue with it. The only game I play that I don't stream, that I could stream, is NBA 2K11, because nobody wants to watch me just dunk every single possession. Because the AI is so elementary that I'm just able to, you know, do the same thing every play, and I just want to play it because it's easy and fun.
Way to spoil the surprise, old man.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I remember back then, fucking NBA 2K11, where dunking, literally like you just pushed a button and you could fucking 360 dunk. It was so hilariously easy.
Come to fulfill my father's wishes.
No. So anyway, how was your day?
It's okay.
Forgettable?
Yeah, much. Could have been a lot worse, you know. Nothing really bad happened. It's just... Oh man, fuck. I gotta tell you guys this story. This was just absolutely retarded. This morning, we ran out of soda. My mom pretty much only drinks Coke Zero. And even though we have, we're fucking American family. We have a goddamn pretty much infinite source of clean, drinkable water. But she's like, oh no, we're out of Coke, I'm so thirsty. So my sister, when she moved out in March, left a ton of shit in her. My dad refers to it, he says that she basically ran away. Because he's all like, she didn't pack her shit and leave, she just kind of just fucking dipped. Like, there's still shit everywhere, you know. She basically just pieced out with her laptop and her clothes on her back, and just, as she needed everything, just bought it. So anyway, the point of this is that there's a bunch of cans of Coke, unopened cans of Coke, on my sister's floor. So my mom's all like, I think that I want to try to have these. Can you go in there and get them for me? And I said to her, I'm all like, are you fucking retarded? Like, first of all, those cans have been sitting there since March. Possibly longer, but at the very least March.
Yeah.
Secondly, they've been sitting there since March, and they just sat through the entirety of summer in a room without a fan and without air conditioning because there's nobody inside it.
Well, sign me in then.
Sitting on the floor in the sun, roasting. For the duration of the summer.
To know.
I'm all like, God only knows how close these things have come to boiling. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, She's like, whatever, I'm thirsty. I'm like, drink water, are you insane? So she, whatever. You know, by this point, because I've told her that it's a bad idea, it's already clicked in her mind that she needs to do this anyway. Because she's all like, I'm not going to have anybody tell me that I'm stupid, that I can come up with a bad idea. So I'm going to commit to this. And I'm like, okay, I got to stay here and fucking watch this. So I sat there and I watched her take that first sip, and she's just like,
I guess word travel.
I was all like, yeah, that doesn't taste too good, does it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember my grandmother never drank water. Like, you know, I was alive for like over 25 years where she was alive. She only drank coffee and Fresca. It was very,
I trust that
based.
Better than I could have.
I think you.
Thank you.
Somehow she lived to be almost 90 and would have probably lived to be 100 if she didn't hit her head and not get it checked until it was too late.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate when that happens, but you know, it's funny because I was just telling a story about something stupid that she did, but this is something that my mom says. She always goes, you know, people say, you know, I felt fine, and I was fine, and all this other shit, because she's a nurse. And she's all like, well, you always feel fine until you don't. You know? And even if you feel fine, if something significant happened, you should still get checked out.
Yeah.
Hey, pal.
And, you know, of course, this, like, whole hindsight thing. But, you
Let's
know,
see here.
peace of mind and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, my grandmother, one time my mom found her eating roasted peanuts that had been expired, like, for 25 years. Like, this was in the mid-2000s, and the can had expired in the 1980s.
That's some fucking LA Beast shit right there.
Yeah, and my mom was freaking out, and my grandma was like, well, they were just there. Like, they were just in a can. Yeah, that is LA Beast type stuff, man. It is. That's actually...
Speaking of LA Beast, I was watching this video. It wasn't an LA Beast video, but it involved vomiting, which is why I thought of it. It was something like MLB pitchers bloopers. So there's this footage of this one pitcher's on the mound, and he just starts barfing. And, you know, everyone's in a circle around him, and then, like, after he's already finished puking, like, he goes, like, 3 streams. So after he's already finished puking, one of the umpires realizes, oh shit, that was probably on camera. So then he looks over his shoulder, sees that the camera picked it all up. So he's like, okay, let me try to step in front of the camera now. And I'm like, dude, that was the worst possible thing that you could have done. Because you could have sat there and pleaded ignorance. But now now you revealed that you knew what the fucking problem was. You were just an idiot.
Yeah, there was a football game one time where a Broncos linebacker vomited on the field right before the play started. Like, he just looks down, vomits, looks back up, the play starts, and he's just doing his assignment. It was the most casual puke I've ever seen.
Wasn't that the replacements?
No, this happened in a real game. I remember it back in the mid-2000s.
I know, I was just bringing it up.
Yeah. It probably did, and maybe it did happen in the replacements.
No, what it was in the replacements was they had this fat sumo guy who was a lineman, and as part of the tradition before a sumo match, you eat a shitload of fucking eggs, I guess. So he was eating a shitload of eggs. And everybody tried to tell him that's a bad idea because it's all like, this isn't a sumo match, it's a football game. It's a completely different experience. And he's like, whatever, this has been my pre-game tradition for years. I'm not going to mess around with it now. So, sure enough, naturally, you know, he's got a belly full of fucking boiled eggs that he ate. You know, he's getting ready to puke. So they're in the huddle, and sure enough, he pukes. So they're like, okay, we need to stay in the huddle. We can't break, but we need to move away from the vomit. So everybody linked arms together, then they all just started fucking shuffling over to the side.
Yeah. You know, I was, yeah.
John Madden in that movie was like, what the hell is going on? That was good shit.
Yeah. I actually, you know, I was listening to a podcast recently, and they brought up the replacements because they were asking, Which sport produces the best movies which feature that sport? And they generally agreed it probably had to be boxing, but they had a long discussion about which sports produced good movies and which ones produced bad movies.
Well, now, here's the really good question. In which sport did Gene Hackman have the best performance in a movie about?
Well, there's Hoosiers and The Replacements, and is that it? What am I forgetting here? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Oh, for a minute there I was thinking that he was in $1 Million Baby, but I'm thinking I'm wrong. Let me check Gene Hackman filmography.
I know he was
Holy
bad.
Hell! Gene Hackman's still alive. He's 91.
Yeah. I didn't think I had heard he had died.
Way to go.
Gods grant me strength.
Let's see.
Stronger still.
Because, like, boxing has, you know, the Rocky movies, Raging Bull, and then movies like Bleed for This. $1 Million Baby is good, although I don't really like watching it very much. I don't know if Gene Hackman hated Hoosiers. I've actually never seen Hoosiers. I know what happens in it, but I've never seen it.
I have seen Hoosiers.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I feel like most basketball movies are actually kind of bad. Like Teen Wolf, like that's ironic, kind of like, you know, so bad it's good in some parts.
Yes, one of the best basketball movies ever made was the Disney Channel original movie Luck of the Irish.
I think I've heard of that one. The one I thought you were going to say The Sixth Man.
I was just fucking with you.
Do you remember The Sixth Man?
No, not at all.
Okay, that was actually, it was an actual Disney Channel movie about a basketball team, and one of their players died, and then his ghost came back and was actually playing basketball, but nobody could see him for the team.
Well, I'll be damned. Check this out. Gene Hackman was in the movie Twilight.
Really? What? Wait a minute. No way.
The 1998 movie named Twilight, a neo-noir thriller film directed by Robert Benton.
Okay. Well, sucks to be that movie.
Also starred Paul Newman and Susan Sarandon. Wow.
Well, that's kind of like the 1998 Avengers movie with Uma Thurman and Ralph Fiennes. Like, I guess it's the same kind of thing almost.
Seriously.
Remember the Disney Jewish basketball movie? I don't remember a Jewish basketball movie.
Remember the Disney Jewish basketball movie?
Full Court Miracle. I don't remember Full Court Miracle. I remember Miracle. I remember Miracle in Lane 2, which had Frankie Muniz as a crippled boy who was a soapbox racer.
Oh yeah, I remember that one too.
Yeah.
Okay, Full Court Miracle is a 2003 Disney Channel original Hanukkah movie. Hey, there's another basketball movie for you, 8 Crazy Nights. Also, blah blah blah, inspired by the true story of University of Virginia Cavaliers basketball star Lamont Carr. The film centers on a group of young Jewish basketball players who search for a coach to help them out of a slump during the Hanukkah season. The main character, Alex Schlotsky, is inspired by the true story of Chad Korpick and Alex Barbag. I would read the synopsis here for people, but this thing is like 8 paragraphs. No.
Yeah, little-known movies do not get curated well on Wikipedia. Yeah, Ethan, I have not seen that movie. I know what it is. I've heard of it. They actually talked about it a bunch on the podcast I was listening to. And they said that it really wasn't about basketball. It had basketball in it, but basketball was just the thing they did to fill a little bit of airtime, and it was really about this guy who I guess was an alcoholic or something trying to get his life back together, and then there, you know, it wasn't really about basketball, but they did talk about that movie and say it was pretty good. That's an interesting subgenre, Jewish basketball.
Wow. Speaking of Jewish basketball, I'm reading the article for Hoosiers right now. In the production section, it says, shortly after the film's release, 5 of the actors who portrayed basketball players in the film were suspended by the NCAA from their real-life college basketball teams for 3 games. The NCAA determined that they had been paid to play basketball, making them ineligible.
Huh. Well, I wonder if that was worth it. Probably not.
Yeah, it's just a fucking joke if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. Yeah, and on the podcast they also said, which I disagree with, that there's never been a good football movie. And they said they thought Any Given Sunday sucked, which I disagree with. I think that's a good movie.
So they said that there's never been a good football movie?
Yeah, they said that, you know, I can't think of any good football movies, and somebody brought up Any Given Sunday, and they were like, no, that movie sucks.
First of all, The Replacements is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Don't know why anybody would argue that. But even if you didn't like The Replacements, how could you hate Rudy?
Rudy, there's one.
Oh my God.
Some people like Remember the Titans, but I've never seen it.
Remember the Titans is another good one. By this point, it seems way too ham-fisted to be able to sit there and fucking watch through it. But what makes it worth watching is the character performances from people like Denzel Washington, of course, and then a lot of the other guys. I can't ever fucking remember their names, so I'm just gonna Google Remember the Titans.
That was the movie with young Hayden Panettiere, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, young Ryan Gosling.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Before
had,
the Notebook.
Right, Denzel Washington, Donald Faison, Ryan Hurst,
Just a bit longer.
what was that one guy? Wood Harris, that's it.
I thought you
Wood
said
Harris.
Woody Harrelson for a second. I was like, wait, what?
No.
Okay.
Wood Harris is the guy who played Avon Barksdale in The Wire. He was that one black guy who was part of the Mama crew in Dread. In the Creed movies, he was the trainer who took over for Apollo's gym in LA, and then in the first Creed movie he denied training Creed. Adonis. And then in the second one I think he became his trainer or some shit. So that people know who the hell he's been. But usually the best way to be like, hey, who this guy is, he was in Remember the Titans. He played that guy.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Maguire's kind of a chick flick that has a little bit of football in it, isn't it? Let's be real. Like, I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen most of it, but I don't feel like that's a football movie. That feels more like a romantic comedy with a little bit of football in it.
Basketball and baseball, kind of, and make a new sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to consider that a basketball movie. I love it. That movie's fantastic.
I've heard it's good. I've never seen it all the way through.
Here, I'm going to Google movies about American football. Hey, who can forget the classic movie Draft Day with Kevin Costner?
You know, Moogle actually unironically kind of likes that movie, so I don't know, maybe it's not that bad.
Worthless.
There's no accounting for taste.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, isn't that one the famous Ronald Reagan movie where he says, you know, win one for the Gipper? Wasn't that about football?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, you had Varsity Blues. You remember that one?
There we go.
That basically, not another teen movie, was just that fucking movie with a couple references to American Pie. I don't know what the fuck that shit was about. You got The Longest Yard.
I've only seen the remake and it was okay. I never saw the original, which I'm sure is much better.
Oh, of course, The Water Boy. Who could forget that one?
Yeah. Yeah, I liked Coach Carter.
Sure.
That was pretty good. I saw it once when it first came out. The Last Boy Scout I actually really like, but I don't think anybody knows that movie anymore. I feel like that movie really got forgotten by history, but that's a good movie. Baseball has the best sports movies. Well, it does have good ones, but I think boxing is probably better. Like, it feels like a vast majority of boxing movies are at least good. Like, there aren't that many bad boxing movies except for, like, Rocky V.
Yeah. Would you count more lesser-known movies?
Yeah, sure, if it's a movie.
Because
I'll take it.
boxing is really popular among, like, independent filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of crap there.
Yeah, okay, that's
but
fair.
when you think about it, what they're really trying to do is trying to recapture Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I get it. But...
And, like, I personally think it's overrated, but Raging Bull is considered to be one of the greatest movies of all time. Not just a great sports movie, but a great movie.
Yeah, I also think it's overrated, because I couldn't even finish watching that when I got halfway through it, and I'm like, fuck me, I can't.
Yeah, I wasn't super into it, but I
I
get
Invincible
it.
with what is this fucking
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that's it.
I remember that one.
Say Matt Damon. Yeah.
I'll take that as a no.
Let's see. What the fuck? They've got Forrest Gump here as a football movie. Nice try.
That's great.
The
I love
football
it.
parts of that movie was like fucking like 10
One
minutes
scene.
maybe.
No, one
Right.
scene. He returns a
What?
kickoff for a touchdown for Alabama, and then it's over.
Fuck, you're right. The scene where he goes to the White House is a fucking All-American. It's longer than the scene where he actually plays football.
Mm-hmm. That's funny they tried to sneak that in, though. You could call it a cross-country marathon running movie because of the scene where he runs back and forth across America for no reason. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to sit there and, like, call something a particular type of genre based off of one scene, you could sit there and say that Forrest Gump is a story about how retards have sex. Good God. Here's a question for you, talking about sports movies. What do you think, or rather I should say, who you think, is the biggest star who's ever been in a sports movie?
Well, in a sports movie, I mean...
And I would say in a prominent role, not like some bullshit cameo, you know?
Well, I can't think of any... Well, Marlon Brando was never in a sports movie. I don't think Jimmy Stewart was. I don't think Jack Nicholson was. So it's not them.
The closest is Draft Day. You think Kevin Costner's a bigger star than Gene Hackman?
I generally would say that Gene Hackman's a bigger star, but I think I think Gene Hackman's a better actor.
Okay, then what about Keanu Reeves then?
That's not bad. Although he felt like he was kind of niche until John Wick like revitalized his career. I mean, he was always kind of the guy who couldn't act, but we kind of liked him anyway until John Wick.
I know, but I'm just sitting there like you gotta put Keanu above fucking Kevin Costner. Unless you're referring to how Draft Day had fucking what's his face?
You know, honestly, what about Sylvester Stallone? Like, he's won an Oscar. He's like a genuine filmmaker.
Ennis Leary, that's it. Ennis Leary, the guy that played the coach in Draft Day. Yeah. The thing is I didn't say that at first because I thought he would have been cheating. You know.
What about Will Smith in the Muhammad Ali biopic? Which I don't even know if it was good or not, but I know he did it.
No, it was not. But fair enough.
Or, you know, I guess you could go for the easy one and say De Niro in Raging Bull.
Joe Pesci.
I love Joe Pesci, actually. Oh, I see what you're saying, David. Okay. Let's see.
You know, this is kind of crazy. When you look at some of the best sports movies of all time,
yeah,
Kevin Costner's in a lot of them. Like, that's kind of nuts.
Let's see here. Let me check something here real quick.
Hey, would professional wrestling count? Because
you mean the wrestler?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean
that's what I was going to bring up. I wasn't going to sit there and say that Mickey Rourke is bigger than guys like De Niro and Sylvester Stallone, but I'm all like Mickey Rourke. He's still pretty up there.
Well, he's maybe the best actor. Like, I think Mickey Rourke is a better actor than Kevin Costner.
Here we go. Easy one. Biggest star plus possibly best actor, no question. A League of Their Own, Tom Hanks.
There we go. That's a good one. And I've actually seen that, but it's been a really long time. Yes, Dave. Yes, JS. I saw Nobody. It's good. I liked it. It was fun. It's kind of like the opposite of John Wick, actually. It's kind of like the inverse of John Wick. Like, John Wick was a guy who used to kill people for a living, and he genuinely wanted to be done with it, but he kept getting dragged back in. Nobody, Bob Odenkirk plays the same kind of character, except he actually really wants to kill people and beat the crap out of people, so he forces himself back into that life. It's the opposite of John Wick, in a way, which I think is kind of interesting. He's genuinely just bloodthirsty and wants to beat the crap out of people, so he can't stay away. Emilio Estevez in Mighty Ducks. There you go. I loved the Mighty Ducks movie when I was a kid. I watched those all the time. Oh, by the way, Snack, I don't know if you saw them, Snacks. You know one of the actors, one of the kids in that movie? Jussie Smollett was one of the kids. Oh,
fuck.
I am not kidding.
Jesus. It's brutal.
Yeah.
No, here's another question. Instead of just talking about who's the biggest star to be in a sports movie, who's the best actual athlete to be in a sports movie? And I think that's an easy one. It's got to be Ray Allen, and He Got Game. It was like the only actual fucking professional athlete that they had be in a fucking sports. Well, other than Jordan and Space Jam, but that's kind of cheating because that wasn't really a movie. That was a joke. When I say a movie, you know, I'm trying to think of, like, not a fucking bullshit thing for kids, you know? Like an actual film.
Yeah. What about Dr. J in, what was the name of that movie? With Julius Erving in it? There was a movie that Dr. J acted in. It might have been called The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
I forgot that Kareem was legitimate.
Yeah.
And some legit, like he was in Enter the Dragon, an airplane.
Yeah.
Muggsy in space? Yeah, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Not this time.
Yeah. But yeah, there was a movie where like Dr. J took a girl to a basketball court during a date to do some dunks to win her heart. It might have been called like The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh or something like that. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it. I know.
From Tartarus is
Big word for it.
Mhm. What about Wilt Chamberlain in that Conan sequel, where he was like it was the worst job to ever give a guy like Wilt Chamberlain. He was supposed to guard a woman's virginity. Like, Wilt Chamberlain should not be asked to guard a woman's virginity. That doesn't make any sense.
That's pretty good, but that wasn't a sports movie though. Right, that was the original question. I said, who's the best athlete to be in a sports movie? So
Okay.
Kareem doesn't count. I'm not just...
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot my own question. How about this? Best actor to ever be in a movie about, or best athlete to ever be in a movie about sports? Jonah Hill in Moneyball.
What about Kyrie Irving in the Uncle Drew movie?
Jesus.
I mean, you laugh, but... I mean, there's something there. You know, not that this necessarily counts for anything that you're talking about, but Carl Weathers was an NFL running back for, I think, a season before he became an actor. And he's in the Rocky movies, too. He's in Predator. He's like a real actor.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
More bone rakers.
But yeah, anyway.
So what do you guys think, Chad? Best athletes to be in a movie about sports?
Mm-hmm. Like, okay, what about Burt Reynolds? Because Burt Reynolds actually played quarterback college football, and then he did the longest yard. Does that count, or did it not? Does it not? Because he never went pro.
Well, I'm reasonably sure that what's his face, Tiger Blood?
We have here.
Charlie Sheen.
That's it. Charlie Sheen pitched for college, and that's why he had what a lot of people consider to be the best performance for a pitcher in a movie that was about baseball, because he actually had pitched before.
Huh. I did not know that about him at all.
Let's make this quick.
The actor who played Al Bundy tried out for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Al Bundy was the dude who was always bragging that he scored 4 touchdowns in one game, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's exactly correct. 4 touchdowns in a single game. An absolute legend.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the King of the Hill episode where what's his name still holds like the record for most touchdowns in a high school football career, and then a kid comes along and he's gonna break it? Yeah, Bill.
It was right, and then the kid tied his record. He got it fair and square, but on the play where he tied his record, he broke his leg.
Right.
So to give him the record, the other team, they just literally just opened up and let him limp into the end zone to give him the record. And Bill was fucking heartbroken because he was like, what the hell? They gave my record away like that? So he initially was trying to be like, hey, that shouldn't count. And people called it sour grapes. So then what he did is, it turned out that because he joined the Army in his senior year of high school, he never actually graduated from high school because it was during Vietnam and all that shit. And it was, you know, back in the day, you were allowed to do that kind of shit. So, you know, he had the opportunity to go back to high school. So they said, yeah, sure, what the fuck? You know, we'll do that, and we'll let him be on the high school football team just to try to get one more touchdown. Physically, it destroyed him, but he got it.
Yeah.
The Bulldozer episode. That was a classic.
Yeah, I remember that one. I think it was like first season too, actually. I don't know if it would actually work like that, but that was a pretty good episode, yeah.
Have a nice day.
So then, if
I
you're
liked
looking out for me, that's good, that's good. She likes to put a lot of thought into
let me see here. So, what time is it anyway? It's almost midnight. I'm probably not going to be streaming for too much longer.
Now here goes.
But yeah, so anyway, Snacks, do you think this Alien game, it just came out, I assume?
Yes, the release was the 23rd.
So it would still be a full-priced game?
It's $40, I think.
Oh, okay. So we can discuss that off stream a little bit, but I could give it a spin. I don't mind.
I'll give it a couple more days of checking out how things are.
Yeah, I know you said a lot of streamers were playing it, so we'll have an idea if it's good or not.
If they burn out on content like super fast, and then it's not actually fun to replay it, then I'll just be like, not worth it.
Wait, is it a co-op game or a multiplayer game? I mean, is it like a single-player campaign that you can play with a friend, or is it like Dead by Daylight, where you're actually like...
co-op group with a single-player campaign.
Okay. I kind of like that. JS, I will be playing those games eventually, but we're looking for co-op games. Like Witcher is not co-op, I'm sure. I kind of have two lanes, right? I play a co-op game with Snacks or Green Earth, and then I'm playing a single-player game like this on my own, and I'm just kind of switching off from night to night most of the time.
And we're off.
But I will get to those games. But the only reason I'm going to play The Last of Us 2 is because I have a viewer who offered to buy it for me because he wants to watch me play it. I'm not that interested.
The sad thing is that he wants to watch you play it because he knows that you're going to hate it because it's a terrible, terrible game.
Well, he didn't like it either. He actually just wants to see what I think of it. He didn't like it. He just wants like the person who offered to buy it for me is like, yeah, I don't think it's good. I just want to see what you think.
Hey, if golfing movies count, you had The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Oh yeah,
Will Smith
I remember
and
that
Matt
one.
Damon in it.
Yeah.
Plus Caddyshack. Rodney Dangerfield is a super megastar. No question about that one.
I don't think so.
Bad News Bears remake had fucking what's his face? Bob Thornton.
I mean, his own daughter is more famous than, or, well, wait, his ex-girlfriend's more famous than he is. So I don't know.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie.
Yep. Remember she used to carry a vial of his blood around everywhere?
Yes, that was a tremendous black pill because she mentioned at some point the reason she got with him is because he reminded her of her dad or something like that.
John Voight?
Yeah, it was pretty fucked up. Here we go. Biggest star to ever be in a sports movie. It is in fact a boxing movie. The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale.
He won the Oscar for that, so he might be the best actor in a sports movie.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that movie was...
The best performance in a sports movie, too.
Yeah. My favorite part of that movie was when Mark is getting a fight against another boxer and they try to give him somebody easy. So they get a dude who had apparently been in prison for the last 6 months. So they're like, he's just been sitting on his couch for the last 6 months. It'll be easy. And then he gets out there and the guy's like ripped and clearly in like prime physical shape. And he's like, If that dude's been sitting on the couch the last 6 months, I want to buy that fucking couch.
Yeah, seriously.
I think everybody who was in that movie won the Oscar except Mark Wahlberg. Bale won Best Supporting, Amy Adams won Best Actress, and Melissa Leo won Best Supporting Actress. Or Marky Mark.
Well, let's see here. I'm gonna check accolades. Academy Awards, yeah, you had Christian Bale won. Amy Adams was nominated but didn't win. Best Supporting Actress went to Melissa Leo.
Ah. Who was the mom? I remember. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was the mom. Hold up. Yeah.
But, what do you think of Back 4 Blood so far, having watched people play it? Does it seem like something that would interest you when it's ready?
It looks like fun, and when it's released, I do want to play it. The only reason we haven't done it now is because, like, the beta ended 8 days ago, and the game's not going to come out for another 2 months. So I was just sitting there like, I don't want to play a game and enjoy it, and then be sitting there like, boy, I can't wait to fucking play this again in ages. Like, what the fuck, you know?
Gimme.
Let's see here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look at the 2010 Academy Awards. Let's see here. Best Picture, The King's Speech.
That was
Best
the year The
Director.
Social Network kind of got fisted a little bit.
Yeah, but it was a movie about Facebook. Who gives a fuck? Best Director, Tom Hooper, King's Speech. Oh, Social Network's not the only movie that got fisted that year. Wow, these actual good movies getting nominated. This is crazy to look at. You had Joel and Ethan Coen's version of True Grit, which was outstanding.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I like that movie.
You also had Black Swan. And Inception came out that year, too. Hell yeah.
Wasn't that Toy Story 3 as well?
Yes.
Not that that would ever win, but yeah, it came out that year.
Yeah, alright. Best Director, Tom Hooper, King's Speech. Best Actor, Colin Firth, King's Speech. Best Actress, Natalie Portman, Black Swan. Hilarious. By far the most hysterical fucking Oscar ever.
I still have not seen Black Swan. I heard it was good.
Yeah, it's a case of, like, they gave it to Natalie Portman because she's the big star and everything and probably blew somebody. But, like, her performance felt elevated based off of other people actually doing their jobs right. But, like, she was basically there. She played the lead, but she really was a supporting act. She's, like, the movie happened to her. You know, a good movie happened around her. Handing her a fucking Oscar. I don't fucking know that shit. Best Supporting Actor, Christian Bale for The Fighter. Jeffrey Rush also nominated. What an honor to beat out Jeffrey Rush for an Oscar. Holy crap.
Yeah, Jeffrey Rush is wonderful. The first thing I ever saw him in was Pirates of the Caribbean, I think. So I thought he was just always playing roles like that, so it was very weird to me when I saw him play, like, real roles, like, you know, where he actually has to really act. I always thought that was weird. Just like, I always thought Will Ferrell was some kid-friendly, like, actor who only made movies for little kids, like Elf. And then I saw Talladega Nights.
The first movie I ever saw him in is something that I wouldn't have been able to recognize him in. Was this 1999 horror movie called House on Haunted Hill.
I've heard of that one.
Good God.
Someone in chat says Black Swan was anxiety-inducing. All of the freaking score and camera techniques, you could stick any white chick in it would have been great.
Hold on a second. Yes. I mean, Mila Kunis is the one who should have fucking Tacoma fucking Oscar.
Oh, she's in that. Okay, I actually did not know that off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, that's the horrifying thing is that Mila Kunis wasn't even fucking nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Melissa Leo won it for The Fighter, but then you also had Amy Adams for The Fighter also. Haley Steinfeld playing the
True Grit, yeah.
little girl in True Grit. Helena Bonham Carter playing Queen Elizabeth in The King's Speech. And Jackie Weaver playing Janine Smurf Cody in the movie Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I don't even remember that one. You know, I used to really like the Oscars, and I thought they were really interesting, but with what we've learned the last few years, it really isn't that interesting anymore, is it?
Because then every single time that absolute horse shit has happened within the last several fucking decades, you gotta sit there and be like, oh, well, I know what happened there. You know, obviously somebody got bribed. It doesn't matter if it was for money or for sexual favors. There was some sort of backdoor deal going on. It's a damn shame, but...
Stanley Kubrick is the greatest director who ever lived and never won Best Director.
Right, and like Alfred Hitchcock, similarly, I don't think ever won an Oscar, and also one of the greatest directors ever. Then you've got absolute mongoloids fucking taking it home because of dumb shit. What are you gonna do? Best original score in the same year where Inception came out. And the reason that I'm bringing that up is because every fucking movie ever uses the goddamn Inception horn. Like that, that fucking, the fucking, that movie changed how we hear every movie forever. They gave it to The Social Network. Good lord.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for Hades tonight. I got to go to bed shortly here. But, yeah, let me see here. Sports movies, I don't know if it's one of the best movies ever, but Ford versus Ferrari was pretty good, and that was based off a sport, racing. Days of Thunder.
I mean, if we're going to talk about racing, then you have to include Star Wars Episode 1. Now this is pod racing.
I mean, you joke, but honestly, that movie may as well have slapped a 10-minute long NASCAR scene in the middle of it. Like, it would not have been that different from what they did.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, fuck me. That was the year that that movie The Wolfman came out with Anthony Hopkins and Benicio del Toro. And Hugo Weaving was in that one, too.
What was it called?
Just The Wolfman.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you ever saw that one. I thought it was pretty good. But that's the funny thing is it won the Oscar for Best Makeup, and that was the only category that it was even nominated in. Which to me is crazy, because you got that movie 127 Hours where a guy just fucking jerks off and eats his own cum because he's got a hand stuck under a rock or some shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the James Franco thing. I remember that.
Yeah.
You were the guy who told me about the James Franco dating website thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was.
Which is very interesting. I would not have guessed that.
Very dog-pilled. I agree.
All right, guys. More stuff coming tomorrow. Thank you for coming out. Well, actually today because it's now past midnight, but I'll see you guys later.